hello again. I'm Alli, and this week's topic for our nutrition chat is going to be prebiotics and probiotics. And please feel free to have any questions or comments in the chat section, and I will get to them as soon as I can, or sometimes I might read them and then address them a little bit later. So I will address all the chats that are going on though. So welcome everybody. I'm excited to talk to you all today and have a discussion. And then if this talk brings up some other ideas that you would like me to talk about in other weeks, I'm totally open for ideas. So let me know. So today's topic, prebiotics, probiotics. I'm going to talk a little bit about each, and then I'm going to show you a recipe that I made that has both in it, and then we'll go from there. So let's start with probiotics first, because that's something that most of us are familiar with. We've been hearing about probiotics for a while now, and they are the live organisms that we find in things like yogurt that are really great for our digestive tract. And they help with the balance of the good bacteria and the bad bacteria in our bodies, especially in our intestines. So basically, our intestines have hundreds of different live bacteria in it at all times. And some of them are good and some of them are bad. And so we always want to keep that balance going as much as we can. And so if it gets off balance, so if the bad bacteria outweigh the good bacteria, then unpleasant things could happen, like we could have poor digestion, or we could have inflammation, or we could just have a lot of discomfort. And our immune system might not be as great as it could be if the bad bacteria are outweighing the good. And so we like to eat good the probiotics, have probiotics in our food so that all the good bacteria have a nice balance in there. So that's kind of the basic concept of the probiotics. And there are all kinds out there. But the most common two that we'll find that are good for our digestive tract are the lactobacillus and the bifidobacterium. So when you're looking at labels, look for those two. And that's what will be best for our intestines. So I'd like to talk about some of the benefits of probiotics. So the function of it is, yes, balance. The function of it, which we just went over, of the probiotics, is keeping the good balance. But there are also other things that they do, the probiotics. So this is really cool. In my research, I found out that they can produce vitamins in our body, because our bodies can't produce its own vitamins. So we have to get that from food and vitamins and everything. So hi, everybody. Hi, Lisa. So the probiotics, once they're in our body, doing well, working out, they can produce vitamins like vitamin K, which we talked about last week with our smoothie talk. And those vitamin K helps with blood clotting. And then it can also produce a lot of the B vitamins like folate, riboflavin, thiamine, things like that. So it's pretty cool. So great for that. And like we talked about before, probiotics are really great for digestion, and they help decrease inflammation. And I also found out that probiotics might help for infants that have colic, because a lot of times they're having some issues in their digestive tract. And so that can be something that people could ask their pediatrician about. And also there's that condition called H. pylori, which oftentimes causes ulcers in the body. And they have found that it does help some people with that. So that is pretty awesome. And let's see. Oh, and then this is another thing that you could talk to your doctor about. But sometimes if you are taking antibiotics for a bacterial issue that you might be having, antibiotics are great. They get rid of the bad bacteria, but they also unfortunately get rid of the good bacteria. So probiotics are good to take in conjunction with or after taking antibiotics, but it's good to talk to your doctor about like when to take them because we don't want to mess with the effects of the antibiotics. So those are kind of the main benefits of probiotics, which I know that a lot of us are really familiar with probiotics. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink. And so now let's talk about the food sources. Oh, hold on. There's a question that just came in. Can prebiotics and probiotics impact your skin? Like if you have really dry or oily skin, could that be a sign of your gut being off balance, or that's something different? I have read that I think especially more so the prebiotics are helpful with skin, and I'll touch on that in a little bit. But yes, they have been found that it could help with some people with their skin, the prebiotics. So thanks. That's a good question. Okay, let's go back to the food sources of probiotics. So we all know yogurt, but it is important to look at the labels, make sure it has a good listing of the live and active cultures that are in the yogurt. And ideally, it's best if you get plain yogurt and then sweeten it yourself. And also plain yogurt's kind of nice because you can use it for savory dishes too. And then you can just put a little bit of sweetener or fruit or whatever it is that you want in your yogurt. But plain yogurt is the way to go. But I do understand if the only way for you that you might eat yogurt is if you get it sweetened, that's fine too, as long as it has the live and active cultures. So other ingredients are buttermilk, also has the live and active cultures, sourdough bread, cottage cheese is a good one, and also check the label on that too, because I think some might not have the live and active cultures. So if you're looking for probiotics in your cottage cheese, look at the labels. Sauerkraut, always a good one. And kimchi, which that is something that we eat a lot of in our household. If you're not familiar with it, it's the fermented cabbage Korean dish. And it's cabbage and lots of garlic and red peppers and spice, and it's just delicious. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that in a little bit. But I highly recommend kimchi if you like cabbage. And you always know it's a good bottle. I opened a bottle earlier today, and as I was opening it, a lot of the juice came out, and the lid was kind of bubbled on top because there was just so much pressure in there from all the good probiotics going on. Do you have a favorite kimchi that you guys buy, or do you make it yourself? And can you make your own kimchi? Yeah, you can make your own kimchi. I've never done it before. I know there are a lot of really good recipes out there. We buy it. I unfortunately am allergic to shellfish, and so I always have to read the labels of kimchi because sometimes kimchi has shrimp in it. But I do buy that brand. I think it's called Seoul Korea. And I buy that for my husband because he really likes it. And there's a local one, Firefly makes a really good one here in Seattle. And then there's another brand that we also buy from the farmer's market. But I usually do buy it and find it at like a health food store like Whole Foods or at Asian markets too. They always have a good variety. So yeah, lots of options out there. I know they used to have it at Trader Joe's, but I haven't seen it in a long time. But we buy ours at PCC if you're a local person here in Seattle. And then I have a couple of more probiotic food sources to discuss. Miso, which is great for soups, or it's great for making dressing, and it's a fermented soybean paste, which also has a really nice flavor. And another soy product is tempeh, which is fermented. It's also fermented soybeans, but it comes in like a block, and they've been fermented together. And then you slice it, and you can saute it or bake it, and it's just a really good source of protein and probiotics. So I recommend that if you like soy products. Pickles are also a good one because they've been fermented. And then a couple of beverages, kombucha, which is one of my favorite things to drink, especially when I'm taking a walk or something. It's a fermented tea beverage, and there are so many kinds out there, and they have all different kinds of flavors. And I like the GT's brand, or GTS. I always say GT's, because they don't put a lot of sugar in it. And so I definitely recommend looking at the label to make sure that it doesn't have a lot of sugar. And then kefir, which is a fermented dairy product. So it's kind of like a liquid yogurt, more something that you could drink. And then there's kefir water, which is more of a water-based. So that's the scoop on probiotics. Now, prebiotics, their counterpart, prebiotics are something that's fairly new, I think, in the information. I remember learning about it in grad school back in like 2001, but it seems like it's become more popular these days. And actually, the people that kind of discovered it, I guess, that happened in 1995. And so I think people have been looking into it for a while. But prebiotics they come from carbohydrates that the body can't digest. So they have a lot of fiber in them. And then they create a nice environment for the probiotics to grow inside the body. Oh, great. Thank you, Lisa, for adding that vegan kimchi recipe. I'll be checking that out too, especially since it's vegan and wouldn't have the shrimp in it. So probiotics come from carbohydrates, not digested in the body, and they provide a really nice environment for the probiotics to grow inside our body. So they are fermenting inside our bodies and provide that nice environment. So I'll give a couple of examples, or actually I have a whole list of examples of prebiotics. But let's see. So for a prebiotic to be a prebiotic, it has to follow these three criteria. It has to not be digestible in the body. It has to be resistant to the acid in our stomach. And then it has to be able to be fermented in the intestine. So many benefits. So that's the function of it. There are so many more benefits of prebiotics. So they help with digestion, first of all, because they are fibrous foods and they ferment in the body, and so then they'll leave the body faster. And because of this, they could possibly reduce the risk of colon cancer, which is a good thing that it can help with. And it helps with improving our immune system as well, because it's making this nice environment for the probiotics. The good probiotic, or the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, have a good balance. Then there's less inflammation, better digestion, and just better overall feeling. And then this is something cool I found out too, that pregnant women can transfer all the benefits of the prebiotics through the placenta to the baby when they're pregnant. So I thought that was pretty cool. And in my research, I also found out that they have found that it could help improve your memory. I don't know if that's just because it's like helping our immune system, and with a decreased inflammation and everything, it's just helping with more mental clarity, but that was interesting. And this is where I also found that it can decrease the development and severity of skin diseases or skin issues or dermatitis or inflammation of the skin. So that was something that has been found as well. And let's see. Oh, and then there have been mixed reviews on this, but I hope that this helps, but it says some studies have found that it does help with the absorption of calcium in our body. So, and some haven't. So that one's up in the air. But there are so many other great things that the prebiotics do that I think they're good. They're good for us. So, especially in combination with the probiotics. So, some examples of prebiotics. I've got a long list. And then I'll show you a recipe that I made with both. Okay, so food sources of prebiotics. We've got asparagus, sugar beet, garlic, onion, which is great because we cook garlic and onion all the time cook with garlic and onion all the time in our house. And chicory, Jerusalem artichoke, whole wheat, honey, bananas, barley, tomatoes, rye, soybeans, human milk and cow's milk. So great for the baby when moms are breastfeeding. Peas, beans, seaweed, microalgae, oats, berries, and leeks. So there are a lot of ways to get your prebiotics and a lot of ways to get probiotics as well. So one thing that is a great combination of both is overnight oats. So I've made these before, but I couldn't remember the dimensions of everything. So I was inspired by the recipe called Overnight Oats in a Jar from Skinny Taste blog, which is, you can find that link to that on relish.com. There are lots of good recipes from blogs on relish.com, and so I looked at the Skinny Taste one for inspiration. So what I did was here I have a jar, and these jars are so great when we can start being on the go and going to work. These are great to take to work for breakfast, but you can also eat it at home. So I put in a half cup of quick cooking oats. Let's see if you can see it a little bit better. Half cup quick cooking oats, 3/4 of a cup of almond milk, about a teaspoon of chia seeds, and then a teaspoon of honey. So we're getting our prebiotics from the oats and from the honey. So you do that, you put that in there, and then you just shake it up and put it in the fridge overnight. I did it early this morning, so now it's been like 8 hours. It's been 8 hours. Oh, thank you for the link, Lisa. So we've got that, and then I do have the ingredients here too. So I just wanted to show you the final product. So half a cup of oats. So I'll put it in here. So like this. Whoops. Excuse me. Half cup of oats, and then 3/4 of a cup of almond milk, and a teaspoon of chia seeds, and a teaspoon of honey. We've got some nice local honey and good prebiotics there. And okay, there we go. I see somebody commented about chia. You know, from the last week, you're a big fan of chia already. I know. I talk about chia seeds a lot. So this is the second time to talk about chia seeds. And then you put it in the jar, and then you just shake it up like this, or you can just go like this. And then you put it in the fridge. So there you can tell it's a little bit more liquid, and then this has become a little bit more solid from the refrigerating. Oh, and then I put about 2 pinches of shredded unsweetened coconut in it this morning too. I forgot I did that. So I'm going to put this in a bowl. And so you can eat it cold or at room temperature. That's how I like to eat it, but you can also heat it up if you want. So here is our yogurt, or our overnight oats. And then I have some plain yogurt to add. So we'll put that on top. Whoops. Put the plain yogurt on top, get our probiotics going on there. And then I also have banana and some walnuts to add to the top too, just for a little bit of crunch. I like to add a little crunch and protein and flavor to the dish. So there we go. We've got prebiotics, we've got probiotics. Overnight oats are such a great way to do that. So I have some other ideas to share with you on how you can get prebiotics and probiotics in one meal. So we've got the overnight oats that are sweet, but you can also make savory overnight oats. So kind of do the same thing. Put like half a cup of half a cup of oats in the jar, and then like a 3/4 of a cup of milk, any kind of unflavored, unsweetened, either plant-based milk or cow's milk, something that isn't going to be sweet. And then put that in the refrigerator overnight. And then the next day, you can add a hard-boiled egg on it, and you can add avocado. And then for your probiotics, you can add kimchi. So it's different. It's a different flavor profile than the sweet oatmeal, but it's delicious. The savory oats are really good. So give them a try. Let's see. Oh, Scott makes that every night for us. So good and filling. We'll share the recipe. Oh, thanks, Kelly. Yay! I know, they're really so good. And such a good way to put different flavors together. But I didn't know that you guys made that, Kelly. So that's cool. Thank you for sharing. So we've got overnight oats. Of course, you know that I am always going to be talking about smoothies. So smoothies are a good way to get pre and probiotics too, because you can put bananas, you can put yogurt, you can put oats, you can put berries all together. And then of course, any kind of superfood. So that's another way. And then one more sweet idea is, the basic cottage cheese, and then put honey and bananas on it. So you're getting your cottage cheese has the probiotic, the honey and bananas have the prebiotic. So that's a good combo. But now I have some savory ideas as well. So kimchi fried rice is one of our go-to meals at our house. So I make the fried rice, with the onions, the garlic, the ginger, and then carrots usually, and then add scrambled egg, the cooked white rice or brown rice, and then add the soy sauce and the sesame oil and all that. And then we top that. So we put that in our bowl, and then we top it with the kimchi while it's still at room temperature or cold, just so we're getting the really good benefits of the probiotics from the kimchi. And then we're getting the prebiotics from the garlic and the onions. So kimchi fried rice, definitely a great option. Let's see. Miso soup is a good one because you have the probiotic from the miso. And then you can add onions and garlic and other veggies too. And then you're getting your prebiotics from the onions and garlic. Another option, stir fry making the stir fry with asparagus, because that is a good one, garlic, onions, and then toss in some tempeh. Then you have your probiotic to go with it. Edamame salad. So soybeans are the prebiotic. So edamame, and then make a miso dressing. There are lots of recipes out there. I don't have one memorized, but I know that there are a lot of good miso recipes, like a vinaigrette made with miso. Barley salad is a good one. So you cook the barley grains, and then you can add the garlic and onions. So you've got lots of prebiotics there, and then top that with kimchi. Have you noticed that I like kimchi? I'm adding that to a lot of the recipe ideas. And, one more. Whole wheat toast, and then you can make a savory yogurt spread. So something like tzatziki, which that's something on our menu for tonight. So you just take, you cut a cucumber in half, and then you take a spoon and you scrape out all the seeds, and then shred the cucumber. And then you take the cucumber, put it in a cloth or a napkin, and squeeze out all the extra liquid. And then you mix that with the plain yogurt and add garlic, lemon juice, salt and pepper. And then that's a nice spread to put on a piece of whole wheat toast. And then you can put cucumbers or any kind of veggie. Tomatoes. Oh yeah, tomatoes, those prebiotics. So those are some good ideas. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Any other topics that you'd like to talk about in the following weeks? I'm open for any ideas. So otherwise I'll just keep talking we have about 4 or 5 minutes left in the show. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a recap so that we can just, maybe I'll go over the quick benefits and then some of the food sources again, just so we have them fresh in our minds. The benefits of probiotics. They are the good bacteria for our intestines, and they help keep the balance of the good and the bad so that we have less inflammation, we have good digestion, we are feeling good, and just good overall health. Prebiotics are the non-digestible foods that come from carbohydrates, and those are making the good environment for our prebiotics to thrive in our bodies. And there have been some new things out now that foods that have added prebiotics to them, and a lot of times it's not going to say prebiotics in the ingredient list, but it will list what the carbohydrates are called. And so I do have the list of them for you, just so you know that, oh, okay, that's a prebiotic. So they would be called, well, sometimes it's listed as inulin, sometimes it's listed as chicory fiber, or oligofructose, or fructooligosaccharide. I know some of these are pretty long words, or galacto-oligosaccharides. So they, how sometimes things are just listed in a form that maybe you wouldn't recognize as a prebiotic, but that's what those are. So some food sources, probiotics. We've got yogurt, we've got sauerkraut, we've got buttermilk, kimchi, miso, tempeh, pickles, kombucha, kefir. Some of the prebiotics that are great: asparagus, garlic, onions, bananas, which that's always a staple in our household, tomato, rye, oats, leeks, beans, peas. Let's see what else. Seaweed. So seaweed, that's always a good snack too. Like if you buy like the dried seaweed, is always a good one for a good snack. And then, or you can like sprinkle the seaweed into like a fried rice or into a salad that might have kimchi or yogurt dressing or miso dressing. So that's always a good option. And basically, prebiotics, probiotics, they're both really great for you, and lots of options on how to add them. The overnight oats are a good way. Kefir salad, yes, that's right. But yeah, kefir is a good ingredient to add, or even just to drink, because it is, a lot of times you can buy the plain and then add a flavor to it, like maple syrup or honey or something like that. But you can find that. I know that they have kefir at Trader Joe's or pretty much every grocery store now. But also the kefir water is a good option. I haven't really tried that, but I've read a lot about it, and so that's something to look for as well. So prebiotics, probiotics, that's today's topic. And next week we'll have a different topic. If anybody has any ideas, let me know, or anything that you'd like me to discuss in the future. I'm always happy to do that. And I'm also very happy to be here today. It's a really nice Monday. Good to see everybody, and hope you have a good rest of your day. And thanks again for watching today, and I'll see you again soon. All right, bye everybody.